Good morning and welcome to the 1911 podcast. Joining with me today is Ewan and Chris. Now, Bradford City fans, we're no strangers to going viral with some chants. You know, we had the pie chant with the sauce. He found his sauce eventually. But we've become an absolute phenomenon on football socials recently due to a certain meme. Pecked by the Chickens, I'm sure you're all well aware of it. I'm definitely sure the opposition team's admins are well aware of it. But today we're joined by the creator of that meme. Tom, how's it going?
Good morning or good evening. I assume people will be listening this evening. Very well, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. So, the Pecked by the Chickens, where did it come from?
I'd like to say it was a moment of genius, but I stole it. It's just Hull's chant. The what is it? Mauled by the Tigers.
Yeah, it's mauled by the Tigers, but we've made it better, haven't we?
We have, yeah. We put our own twist on it.
It's a bit less cheesy with no dodgy accents. Like, you don't see a bunch of City fans in away and going, Pecked by Chickens.
I don't know. I think we're getting there at some point. We do sing it now. All that's left is doing some miming.
I tell you what's really interesting about it was I was away in London last week, and a friend of mine who's not a football fan at all had a conversation with me in the car down, and he was like, "What on earth is this Pecked by the Chickens thing?" And I was just like, "Actually, I know the guy who's created it, which obviously Tom." And it was, it's gone so mental, and I'm sure that there's a lot of teams in the league or cup as well, as obviously this week has shown, that are very, very worried about getting beat by us because of the amount of memes that get posted to their Twitter account, which is great. It's been absolutely phenomenal.
It has been great. And I think when you look at it, we're doing other clubs a justice here by going into their comments section. Look at the extra revenue they're getting from such interaction from a bunch of City fans when you're seeing usually they get maybe like 10 or 11 replies to a full time, and all of a sudden you've got the best part of 1,000 in less than an hour.
Yeah, it's amazing, wasn't it? Stoke's previous game where they won, I think the interaction was something like 27,000, and because of the meme, it was something like 97,000 interactions or something like that. Anyway, or certainly views on that page. So, teams are very worried about the fact that if they get beat by us, they're going to get absolutely, infiltrated by all these Bradford fans. And it's just gone mad. I mean, Tom, this isn't just a new meme, is it?
No, funnily enough, I'm trying to think when I actually made it. I think it was about halfway through last season or something like that. And it got next to no traction when I first posted it. And then I posted it again towards the end of the season, and then our own fans picked it up a bit, and then I got stickers and flags made, and those sold out. But this time it's on a whole other level. I've had sort of like tweets that have done well before, but this is just like prolonged, just interactions, like the amount of times I've been tagged in stuff and the amount of times I've just come across. I even come across it on TikTok, like creators making TikToks of it. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, well, I mean, the traction that it's gained is far beyond just even like a League One level, isn't it? Because it has captivated every team in England and even some teams abroad as well. I've seen like teams in Italy are using it as well. It's amazing how quickly this has become like a global sensation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mad. I mean, I've even seen some cricket teams and rugby teams make their own spin. Well, it's ridiculous.
I think the Bulls did one, didn't they? They did one for Bulls, for Bradford Bulls. Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but the traction that we've seen on it is incredible. Like you say, it's not just League One; it has expanded. I mean, we got drawn against Newcastle, and when that were announced, all I saw in their comments section on Newcastle's Twitter, the best one I saw was one bloke said, if we lose, I'm throwing myself off the Tyne Bridge because I do not want to be pecked by the chickens. It's incredible, and like you say, it's all over TikTok. You've got people picking it up, and it's becoming slightly worldwide. Like you're getting Yanks and whatnot making TikToks on it. And how has it affected you in any way, shape, or form? Like, do you find yourself like dealing with people that you wouldn't normally deal with? Mostly online, probably, but does anybody actually know it's you? Or
not in real life. I'd probably need to leave the house for that. But on Twitter, it's just like constant, especially like after the Stoke game. I must have been tagged about like 50 times and stuff, and I got loads of DMs, and it was just ridiculous. But day to day, it's just another fad on the internet. I'm sure it'll pass.
I think the thing that really annoyed me, Tom, and I kind of posted about it last week, was where there was other people trying to profit from it and put their logos on top of it and tried to make it out as if it was theirs, which is where I had a bit of a meltdown last week. If anybody saw that on Twitter, where they were trying to profit from it, which I think is really important to mention as well, is that this was also all about kind of like making money for charity as well, and for the Burns unit research, because obviously we don't have the Burns unit in Bradford anymore, but it was about doing that, and it was about making money for charity, which I think is really good. And I understand that there is potential that that those stickers are going to come out and that is going to be for charity. And I think that that's really important to emphasize. This has never been for you a profitable situation.
Yeah, last time through the event, we got some stickers and flags out, and that went to Bradford Burns unit. Currently, as you know, Chris, in the middle of trying to get that done again. We're just sort of looking for someone to do it for us. So fingers crossed, if it goes okay again, we'll get some more merch out and raise some money.
It's top effort. Anything that goes to help the Burns unit's obviously going to be held dear by City fans. I'm sure we can all agree on that. However, time does press, so I do think it's time to go on now. Tom, you're going to stick with us for the pod, give your thoughts and views. So we're not going to say goodbye to you just yet. But Peterborough, I know we're going back a little bit here, but this is because we did the extra time and then none of us were about to do a review of Peterborough. So tell me, boys, what are we thinking about Peterborough? Is it a point gained or 2 or 3 lost?
I think the thing is, what we have to look at is the fact that we're disappointed, and I realise, because obviously it was like a last minute goal. I think the fact that we're disappointed that we didn't get a victory away from home in this league shows how much we've developed this season already. I mean, as we all know, it's great being a City fan right now. We're loving it. Life is great. Life is amazing. But I think that the fact that we are really disappointed with that we came out of that with just the 1 point. Also, I will mention it's Peterborough's only point of the season so far as well. I think that that's showing volumes about how well we are playing this season, or how well we are doing in general.
Does it show, though? Does that Peterborough game show that we're struggling to adapt to a more teams that are squaring right up to us, like man for man in the same formation? Does that show we're struggling to adapt to that sort of style? Because it seems that when we're allowing teams to play football, we're all right. But when it comes to a team that's trying to play the same sort of way we do, get on that high press, quick turnover, not really want to play football, have we got any? Is there a bit of a deeper lying issue there of not being able to break them down?
No, I don't think so at the moment. I think, like Chris said, we're so privileged at the moment that we can look at our results in just the month of August and say, well, the two games actually where we've dropped points were the teams that we actually expected. Really we should get 3 here. So the Northampton game and the Peterborough one, obviously, but I think it's just a teething issue at the moment in the term of. I think sometimes we give teams too much respect, especially away from home. We need to get in their faces a bit more. And I think both the Northampton game and the Peterborough game could have easily ended up as 3 points. Obviously a little bit of lapse of concentration at the end of the Peterborough one, and we've had a host of chances at Northampton as well. One cleared off the line, and we could have easily won that as well. So it's just early issues, and I don't think you'll find any City fan complaining after an unbeaten month in August and an unbeaten start to the season.
No, I totally agree with you. Any thoughts from you, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, the game itself, it wasn't a classic, was it? By any means. But I mean, it's not a secret we're not great away from home. It was the running theme last year. As good as we were at home, away we were pretty bad. It feels like a loss, not a loss. It feels like we dropped 2 points just because we did concede sort of towards the end. But if at the start of the season, if you would have said, a point away from home at Peterborough, probably would have been happy with that. I mean, as long the aim is win your home games, draw away, and so far we've done that.
Totally agree with you. So we move on a bit from Peterborough, and we go into Stoke now. Stoke, I know I said that I couldn't give a toss.
No, I can't. Can't be asked. Can't be asked.
Can't be asked.
I'm not asked. Let's remember that one.
I'm still not asked, but I'm very getting on board with it. No, the Stoke game, it was incredible. The performance the lads put in, and I know a lot of Stoke fans said, "Oh, it's our second string and all that," but it was ours as well. In fairness, it were a lot of our fringe players. It wasn't what we've come to recognise as what would be the starting 11. We just played them off the park, and they're meant to be top of the championship. I think a lot more needs to be said about how special a win that is, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, especially when you take into account the Blackburn game, where it was roughly, the same team that went out in that game that did at Stoke. And at Blackburn, we really struggled from 25 minutes onwards. We had a good spell in the second half, but obviously there was only ever there was a massive risk that the game was going to go down to the wire, down to penalties, and if not for a magical save from Walker right at the end, then we could have easily gone out on penalties. But there was none of that in the Stoke game. We absolutely dominated the game. They had basically no chances at all. Walker's barely had to make a save, and you're right, we played them off the park completely.
Yeah, we did. And I mean, I've got a friend of mine who's a Stoke fan, and they were using the excuse of, well, we had 10 changes. We had 5. We had 5 changes in that game. So the way that we went out and performed, I thought it was just, we played really, really well. Will Swan, ole, was fantastic. Lapsley had a really, really good game as well. I think that hasn't been mentioned enough. I thought Lapsley was absolutely brilliant in that game. But you didn't feel worried. I think even at 2-0 at half-time, where obviously against Blackburn, where we conceded just before half-time, I didn't feel worried by the performance. I felt that we were going to go through. And to be honest with you, I think we could have scored more. I think we had opportunities. I mean, if Tyree could have been better with the final product, I think we probably would have had a couple more opportunities to score. I don't want to knock him too much, obviously, but it was a real performance, and we look really good, as we do constantly at the moment. We just look really, really good.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be said for all those fringe players who put in an amazing shift in that game. They've made quite a statement. When we were coming into the most recent match against Wimbledon, you're thinking, oh, well, Swan has justified himself, so's Lapsley. And even the players on the bench like Nick Powell had definitely justified their inclusion for that matchday squad on Saturday.
Sorry, who? Who?
We'll come on to this because I think all of us are starting to eat our words on this, but we will talk about Nick Powell in the Wimbledon analysis. But with that Stoke match, I mean, bring on Newcastle in the next round.
I fancy us, to be honest.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't see why we can't just go do the same again. I mean, they're not going to play a full-strength squad, I don't think. And I think I say it won't be our full-strength squad, but if they play like they did against Stoke and Blackburn, I think all of our players are our full-strength squad at the minute. But no, I really fancy our chances. I really do.
That's a fair comment, and I do want to just jump in on that as well. Like you said, you think that even the fringe players, they're all our best players, and this goes down to what Graham's alluded to already, is that he's going to be a heavily rotated team throughout the season. He's got these 22, 23 players that are all going to have big parts to play this season. What he's done is he's recruited players that isn't the first and second string. They're all first teamers, just who's going to be in the match day squad on that week. And that strength and depth is something that we've missed at City for so long. We've had at best maybe 2 or 3 standout performers, but I can't think of any like star player that we have right now that's anything more or less than any other player that we've got on the pitch. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was on the EFL debate with Gab Sutton this week, and that was sort of one of the points he brought up, is that we don't have any outstanding players for League One level, in the sense that you don't look at our team and go, wow, they're too good for this league. Maybe, obviously, we're moving that way with Nerfville, the way he's performing at the moment. And it might not be long until he moves on to, a club higher up. But there is no player in that team, I don't think, that is too big for this league at this point. And actually, I think that benefits us almost, that the squad is on such a level playing field that everyone is fighting for that place in the starting 11. And it's so healthy, I think, for the squad, because it drives and motivates them. And I think another thing that I said to Gab was that there has never been a better sense of the project and the momentum behind the football club for probably 9 or 10 years, I'd say.
I'd say even longer than that, to be honest. I mean, you look at 2013, Phil Parkinson did amazing with that group of players, and what we achieved was incredible and probably won't be achieved again, getting to a League Cup final. But I don't really recall there being a massive plan in place and a vision of what was to come, if that makes sense. I feel like we've got a future mapped out for us a bit with Graham, and I think even back then, 9-10 years ago, we played very well. The McCall year in when we got to playoff final in League One. It were good. It were great, but I don't think there were a plan in place like there is now.
No.
I think also it's like kind of to do with the depth as well. You look at that 2013 team, which obviously we all adore, but there wasn't the depth really there that we do have to this day. Like, I think if we've got a player gets injured, I'm not too concerned about who's going to replace that player in every single position at the moment. And I feel that is something that, he's obviously, Graham's mentioned as well about he wants the 22 players. And they're all going to be part of this, they're going to be part of the first team squad. They're all going to be able to, put their input in there. And I feel that this squad currently, there's no kind of weak gaps. Or if if somebody doesn't play great one week, then they're going to be on the bench, and the player that's coming in is going to be more than capable of being able to be in that team. Something we haven't had.
Yeah, it is a really balanced and well-rounded squad, isn't it? I think we've got so many, especially looking forward, we have so many different threats and different ways we can hurt teams. You have to look at some of the goals we're scoring to see the variance and multiple different ways we hurt teams. If you look back to Stockport, we hurt them by going long and playing over the top. If you look at the Luton game, we hurt them by pressing really high and playing really nice football. And even at Stoke, we played really nice football, and we scored a whole variety of goals over the month of August. So we can only be positive about it. The way we hurt teams is brilliant.
It is incredible. Like we're looking like we've got different ideas for a change, which is quite unusual for City, considering we've been so one-dimensional for so long, and we never really seem to have a plan B, and it feels like we've got plan A, plan B, plan C, and plan D ready to go with Graham at the minute. It doesn't look like he's bereft of ideas in any way, shape, or form, which is showing great returns, because I think we've had to change formation at half time, for example, on a couple of occasions to nullify what's been going on in the first half, because the original tactic hasn't worked. And having a dynamic manager that's actually willing to say, yeah, this hasn't worked. I live and die by this, but it hasn't worked, so we need to make that change. It's so refreshing to see.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at us under the Hughes era, not that long ago, I feel like often we struggle to break teams down when they're sat back, and we just never had a plan B. We just keep trying the same thing over and over, and just hoped Andy Cook got a goal out of nowhere. Those were our tactics, and it never changed. So no, you're absolutely correct. It's great going into half time knowing that Graham will be changing something, because it's not working.
Yeah, I think just with the Hughes comment as well, is that obviously everyone talks about his sort of dinosaur style of football, but in complete opposite, Alexander totally gets this league, doesn't he? Whereas Hughes probably maybe just didn't. And credit to Alexander, because I think he has developed massively as a manager since he came to Bradford. He certainly, I think, understands more about the club, and I think he's developed in sort of a personal sense as well. One of the things I've been so impressed by so far with City this season is, like you say, we are changing things early. I think one of the big things that people had a problem with Alexander early on was that he didn't make substitutions until around 70-75 minutes, and it was just a fraction too late really to change games sometimes. But nowadays, especially yesterday, I thought we pulled the trigger really early on the subs, which was fantastic to see. Just that desire to, not settle for a point and think, right, okay, we're going to go out and change this game, and we've got players on the bench. It's probably a trust as well in the players that he's got. He's finally got the squad he wants, and he's got a squad of 22, 23 that he's completely happy with, and he understands their roles and how they can influence the game.
Totally agree. Like going on to Wimbledon, soon as you've brought it up, I'm going to start off being a bit moody about it. I know we won, but it wasn't the best performance footballing wise that we've seen from City this season. Don't get me wrong, I'm thrilled that we got the win, and I think we learned a lot more about this team through yesterday than what we would have done if we'd have steamrolled them 3-0. However, we were totally outmuscled and outplayed by a very good Wimbledon side, which might add, I don't think they're going to have any trouble in avoiding drop this season. They're going to cause a lot of problems to a lot of teams. But the one thing that the big positive I'll take from yesterday is where the chips were down, we saw a mental fortitude, a character from this City team that were very much in the never say die attitude of that 2013 group that we all love and adore. And it showed that they get this project, they get what it means to be a Bradford City player. That epitomizes the whole ethos of being a Bradford City player. Would you not agree?
Yeah, I think everyone going into the game thought that this was going to be the tricky one, especially with knowing that Wimbledon do like to play physical. They like to play gritty football at times, but I was quite impressed with how they moved the ball, especially in the tight, closed areas. Like you say, they will be absolutely fine because a team with certainly probably less mental fortitude than us and less grit and determination would have lost there. And even at 2-1, I was sat there thinking, well, we're just going to lose because we hadn't shown much up to that point. But like you say, it was a really gritty performance, and actually, I think that's almost more impressive than steamrolling these teams. The ability to fight back and say, well, no, we're not going to go down that easily. We're going to fight on our own terms. And yeah, we didn't. We scored 3 pretty ugly goals yesterday, but that's. I'll stand by it and say I think that's the most impressive performance we've had this season, because the way we played was ugly, but we got it across the line, and that is the real sign of a team that's going to do things this season.
I think we got stuck into playing to their style of football, didn't we? Which was an ugly style of football, and that was where we weren't able to do or play the way that we have been playing so far this season, and we got suckered completely into that style of football. However, we would have lost that game. I know it's usual cliche and stuff, but we would have lost that game last year. We would have lost that game for the last 5 or 6 years, but we came through and we didn't give up. And and also, may I mention, we never score goals like we did in the third goal. That never happens for Bradford City. That never falls to us. It just doesn't happen. And that kind of shows you when your luck is up at the moment, that those kind of goals, it falls straight to Swan's foot, doesn't it? It's like, it just had to happen. And of course, it had to be Will Swan as well, didn't it? It had to be straight to him. But yeah, we got suckered into it, but we came out of it and we've got the win. And do you know what? I'll be honest. I think I enjoyed that result yesterday more than I did against Luton.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, you mentioned a really key thing there that I do want to pull you up on, saying, when your luck's in. I'd like to say that we created our own luck yesterday, because they had huge chances at 2-2 to put the game away from us. Like they had one that they pulled wide, and another massive chance just after that as well. And after that, though, we were the better team, and we looked like we were going to go on and win it, because we were the only team fighting and pushing from about 70 minutes onwards, I think. And we did create our own luck. Fans will call that, jammy. We scored 3 jammy goals yesterday, but we did have really good chances, and a draw probably might have been a fair result, but we did create our own luck, and we kept pushing, and it is a gritty and determined performance. It's fantastic. Do you not think as well, right? Like, I really enjoyed yesterday's match because it felt really old school. With how physical it was. Ref were letting everything go, and I really enjoyed it. Like being an actual football match. I was watching Match at Day last night, and I can't remember which team it was. I think it might have been Fulham-Chelsea. Fulham had a goal disallowed by VAR because he did a turn and accidentally stood on the Chelsea player's foot. Like when he's done this trick, like it's like, that's pathetic. But yesterday, it felt like old school, so like 80s, 90s style, crazy gang sort of football, proper physical battle. And I really enjoyed that. And I thought as well, I'm always quick to moan at refs. I thought the ref played pretty well. However, with our goal, Tilt properly takes out the keeper there. And in this day and age, no, because I see it from both camps, right? I like physical football, but in this day and age, goalkeepers are wrapped up in bubble wrap from referees. And the referee offered no protection to that goalkeeper there. Tilt had no intention of going for the ball. He was just being in the way and causing an obstruction. So that first goal of ours shouldn't have probably counted.
You've even just said it yourself. The goalkeepers get wrapped in bubble wrap constantly. I maybe I'm biased, I don't know, but I personally didn't. I've watched it a few times back. I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. And I think, yeah, I think because obviously you're part of the Goalkeepers Association. If anybody doesn't know, Andy always likes to mention about how he's a goalkeeper. I think I think they get too much protection. Like your slight touch of a goalkeeper and you're getting a free kick. It's ridiculous. I mean, as long as we don't go to like that Fulham Chelsea game where someone stands on someone's foot or whatever. But I just think that goalkeepers get far too much protection. It's his own fault for doing what he did. I mean, I thought that their goalkeeper yesterday was actually pretty appalling, if I'm honest. I thought he was absolutely dreadful. But yeah, it's a goal for me all day long.
Just want to say about their goalkeeper as well. Ewan, you said you were on that podcast with Gab Sutton the other day.
Yep.
What did Gab Sutton say about our goalkeeper?
Yeah. So
what did you say, Gab Sutton?
I did rib him on it when I was on the pod the other day. And yeah, he's held his hand up, but yesterday he was trying to defend Bishop because he has started the season really well, and I think as well, moving on from Owen Goodman last season, who was obviously amazing for Wimbledon, he's done a good job to fill his boots. But I thought he did have a poor game yesterday, Bishop. I will weigh in on the debate about the first goal and say that I don't think Tilt backs in that much, and I think the goalkeeper actually goes right the way over the top of him rather than thinking Tilt's backed into him and the goalkeeper's been forced to go above him. I think the goalkeeper makes the decision to go high and punch it and completely fluffs it, obviously. Similar to the second Grimsby goal in the cup tie against Man United, where Onana just comes miles out to punch it and he just doesn't.
How Onana is a professional footballer.
I don't know.
I don't know. How does that man earn a paycheck playing football? It's ridiculous.
You should go sign for Man United, Andy.
Nah, you're all right.
You pass it up.
Yeah.
You want to go to a bigger club, wouldn't you, mate?
Yeah, Bradford would do me. But I'm not moving Sam. I'm not moving Big Sam. That's the issue. Just go and play second fiddle. No, I wanted to mention as well, right? Will Swan.
Ole, ole.
Ole, ole. Will Swan. What has this boy got to do to get a start? Now, he has only played 364 minutes of football for Bradford City so far this season out of a possible 720 minutes. Most of his appearances, I think, all barring one league appearance, has been from the bench. And he's scored 5 goals. He's averaging in the league, he's played 198 minutes and he's averaging. He scored 3 goals. That's 66 minutes ago. Best in our squad. I've done the check-in. That's the best goal return to minutes ratio we've got in the squad. Surely he starts next time out.
I get where you're coming from, and I do, and I understand your point. However, I really like him as an impact sub because the teams are tired in the second half. He comes on, and he's running those defenders ragged. He's almost like, do you know what he reminds me of? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Man United. He was that impact sub that would come on and make a real difference. And he does make a difference. And I just think that is where he should be. I don't think it's a matter of that he shouldn't be in the first team. I don't think there's any question of that. I just really like his role that he's playing in this team at the moment. It's working. He's scoring the goals. So I don't mind it. I really, really don't mind it.
I've never agreed with Chris Moore, and that's slightly concerning. But he is an amazing impact sub. I think Humphreys is brilliant at what he does. He's a really physical player, and he's no slouch as well. He does cause lots of issues for defenders. He could have had probably 2 goals yesterday whilst we were on that subject. He was so unlucky with that shot that hit the bar, and he's had another one as well. Bobby was unlucky as well not to probably have 2 as well. But Swan is fantastic off the bench. He's the perfect impact sub. And like you say, if it works, don't try go 100% on it and say, well, he's scoring goals, so let's put him in the first team, because that might disrupt the fine balance that we have at the moment. I think just bringing on something different, obviously there's a lot to be said for that in the second half of games, but he does run them ragged, where Humphreys has already done a fantastic job of doing that anyway.
Humphreys has done a great job, and I've got a lot of love for Humphreys. But yesterday, he looked a frustrated figure. He looked really frustrated. Would a bit of a spell of swapping roles with Swan, being that impact sub, maybe doing a bit of good so he can get his head back on straight, because he didn't look too happy yesterday, didn't Humphries? Let's be fair.
We've been a little bit overcritical, I think. Maybe that's because of how well we've started the season. I agree with you that he probably did look a frustrated character yesterday, a frustrated player. I think that's too early to say that yet. I think that just might have been the way that Wimbledon played yesterday that really frustrated him. He wasn't able to have much time on the ball, which obviously Humphries loves. So I feel that was probably where it was yesterday. Again, I don't think I would change anything. I don't think I would have Swan now starting in the first team yet. I think it's still okay where it is. So yeah, I don't feel that yet. I think we probably are being a little bit overcritical on one performance, but that's great because of the fact of how well we started the season, that we're, because a player's not played amazing, that we're already saying, right, well, maybe he needs a spell on the sidelines. I don't think I'd take that, to be honest with you.
I don't mean it because he's not played well. Just as a mental reset for him, more not at all, because like I say, I'm a lover, and I think Humphries has played phenomenal since joining us. But maybe just if you're that frustrated, just a bit of a mental reset to go again. Basically, it's not down to any poor form or out like that. It's just maybe he needs to just take that minute and then come onto the pitch fresh, ready to go, rather than him feeling like it's all on his shoulders from the get-go. But who knows? Maybe you're right. Maybe it is a case of not changing what's not broke. For me as well, Tommy Lee, that man. Last season, I wanted him gone. I didn't understand why he was in the club. He was terrible in my eyes. I know you're going to say the position.
I am. You've heard me like
yeah. I know exactly what you're going to say, and you're right. But this season, absolute warrior of a man in midfield.
He was robbed of a man of the match yesterday. I think he might have got it on the Twitter poll on the official club site, but he didn't get it in the match. That went to Poynton, didn't it?
Do you know what? Bobby could play for 2 minutes, not touch the ball, and he will get man of the match every single game.
He was really good yesterday. Bobby was. He had two really, really good chances in sort of the first half, and then obviously got a goal for being in the right place at the right time in the second, and then immediately got hooked. Because I thought when we scored and obviously all the subs were lining up, I thought, well, he's going to ask them to go sit back down. No, he still rolled them out, which I think was really brave. Like I've already mentioned about Alexander's subs, good on him for saying, okay, well, we have scored, we've changed the game, but you're still getting hooked. Lee was fantastic though. He's such a warrior. He works his socks off. He runs hard, and especially in a game where our midfield was almost bypassed in that Wimbledon game with the way they were playing. It was a really tough watch at times, but he stuck at it. He went really hard on the press when he could, and he had a really good game, I thought, for the type of game we were in.
Yeah, and finally, before we move on a bit more, I didn't manage to see listen to Graham's post-match interview or anything like that, so I don't know. But Tilt's injury, is it like? Did he say anything? I don't know if any of you guys have listened to it yet or anything, but it came off. It didn't look great. It was tweaking at his hammy, and I think if he is out for any prolonged period of time, that could be a bit of an issue for us, because, again, for such what was perceived as such an underwhelming signing, the man's been an absolute monster in the back line for us, and that concerns me if he's out for a while. And it didn't look too happy about his hammy when he came off.
Yeah, I think the only positive you can look at it from that is that I didn't notice he was injured, and then it was just like, I've tweaked it. So I think he knew at the time that he'd done something serious, which could be bad news, but I think he wasn't hobbling. He was just holding it slightly. So I'm slightly hopeful that he'll have just felt something go, and it won't be a hamstring tear or anything. He'll have just felt it tweak in the back of his leg, and he was hooked fairly quickly. So hopefully it's nothing serious, because he's been a rock. He's definitely been the surprise of the season.
Yeah, he has. He has indeed. Go on, Tom.
I mean, when he's just so aggressive. It's amazing. He's definitely getting a red card at some point this season. I always feel like he's very close to sparking someone out. But he has been a revelation. To say we weren't very excited about him when he first signed, it's just proper old school centre back as well. Get rid first is his motto, and exactly what we needed at the back.
It's amazing because his build and his physicality. It doesn't strike you as someone who can play wide centre back, and he's doing such an amazing job of that. I thought he was dealt a really poor hand yesterday in the Wimbledon match, because every time he went shoulder to shoulder to someone, it was always going to be a foul, because he just outmuscled everyone that he was up against, and the ref just wasn't having any of it, unfortunately. But he's been such a revelation. Hopefully he's not out for too long. But we have got options now, you feel. Obviously, Pennington started the season over Baldwin. We've got Kelly as well, who obviously came on for Tilt and looked fine for the...
Talking of Baldwin, sorry to interrupt.
No, not at all, not at all.
I want to call Christopher out on this.
Oh.
He says Baldwin's atrocious. I strongly disagree.
I certainly did not say the words atrocious.
Oh, sorry, were it useless? Absolutely useless. Sorry, I'm sorry, but he's had a cracking start to the season, and last season he played really well, barring his loss of his head, where everyone were a bit miffed off with him. I don't see what you've got to base it on.
I don't think he had a great 40 minutes to start the game yesterday. I think the final 5 minutes he was absolutely brilliant, and I just shut up because he was absolutely. There was the tackle as well, wasn't there, towards the end of the first half, which was absolutely
where
brilliant.
He slid in as he shot.
Yeah, I think my problem sometimes with Baldwin is he's a bit inept with ideas, and sometimes he just loves to hoofball.
Yeah.
And I think that was a bit of and I think that he kept doing that, and it wasn't working for him yesterday. However, I am more than happy to hold my hands up and say I was wrong, because that final 5 minutes in the first half, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. He totally redeemed himself. I think there was a couple of guys around us as well yesterday that had realised I'd been giving him a bit of abuse, and they were all like, "Oh, Baldwin did all right there, didn't he?" So listen, I'm more than happy to be wrong on that occasion, and that's obviously I want him to prove me wrong. I was probably looking for a fall guy, and unfortunately, it was probably Baldwin at that point. However, I absolutely accept that I was wrong.
Yeah, just because his distribution's rubbish doesn't mean he's a bad defender.
No,
and I think also we're spoilt because Wright is so good on the ball, and even Tilt's proved himself to be quite good on the ball. Pennington as well, and we know Kelly's got a good pass and a cross in him. I think he just sometimes seems like he's a bit of an odd one out, but he's still a really good defender. He still throws himself about, and he's definitely not out of place in the team, in the sense that he's completely outclassed and he's the weakest link and teams target him. He's still a really good player.
I think it's quite interesting actually, because last season a lot of our back line got quite a lot of stick from our fans. I found like they were often made the scapegoat. But if you actually look at our defensive record last season, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So I wonder what the I think it's a bit like goalkeepers. If they make one mistake, it's really easy to see, and that's the same with defenders in some way. If they make a mistake and it leads to a goal, people are going to remember that. Whereas if someone up front fluffs his chance, it'll be forgotten about in 2 minutes. So, yeah, I do think Baldwin does get some undue stick sometimes.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think you're absolutely spot on with that because there was a lot of abuse for Burn as well last year, who I actually really liked last season. I thought he grew into the season really, but you're absolutely right that I think it's too easy to knock defenders where any slight mistake by a defender. For instance, Joe Wright's mistake for the first goal yesterday. There was a little bit, and then obviously when he scored, everyone was like, "Oh, he's redeemed himself." It's a very difficult position where everything is going to be scrutinised. Whereas I don't think, I mean, obviously goalkeepers get it more for obvious reasons, but I think it is one of those positions that really gets scrutinised. And if you're not having the greatest game, it's clear to see.
I think it's just football fans in it. We're just fickle.
Yeah.
We're a fickle bunch.
I just wanted something to moan about, Andy. It's been going so well. I just wanted to whinge about something. So
you missed the morning.
Right, we are going to move on to our factuals with the roundup because we are running deep on time here. We've had a fantastic discussion on the games we've missed, but Cardiff continuing their unbeaten start to the season, hammering Plymouth 4-0 in the early kickoff. Very impressive, that one, but Plymouth look all at sea. No pun intended. Doncaster winning the South Yorkshire derby 1-0 against Rotherham, who look really poor. Obviously, we've got Donny next away from home. Blackpool 1, Bolton 1. We've got our win against Wimbledon, obviously. Luton finally seem to be pulling up a bit of steam. They beat Burton Albion 3-0. Peterborough also lost by the same scoreline at Exeter. Port Vale lost again to Reading. Stevenage won again. Stockport can only draw at Wigan. Mansfield 1, Lincoln 1 as well. It's been a weird start to the season, hasn't it, for a lot of different teams. We've had a lot of surprises, but also we've had a lot of teams that we expect to be up there starting to, gain momentum. Barnsley, obviously Cardiff, Doncaster and Huddersfield, who we thought would have, fairly strong seasons, are up there.
Yeah, what I want to say as well with the Huddersfield-Barnsley match, Goodman got red carded.
Yes, he did. Yeah, that's
and
really
he's going to be suspended.
Yeah.
It was a straight red, so he's got a 3-match suspension.
It was a terrible challenge as well.
It was awful. Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
Battery. It was really awful. Yeah.
But yeah, so he's missing for the City game, which that's only good news for us really because he's a class goalkeeper.
I mean, Huddersfield's backup is Lee Nichols, right? So that's. Yeah. Not a terrible keeper to have as your second.
No, it's not. But I'd be more worried about Goodman, to be honest.
Yeah,
because he's a cut above, in my opinion. He was really good for Wimbledon last year.
Yeah, he does. He helps with the distribution, obviously, and the build-up from the back and the way they like to play. So it can only be a good thing to have a first teamer missing. It'll just put a seed of doubt in the back of their minds, hopefully.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Blackpool again are still struggling, aren't they? I really thought they would do really well this season. I don't know whether it's just not quite starting for them yet, but it's still very early days, chaps. And we'll see what happens. But you're right. I think it's been quite an interesting start to the season. There's teams up there against Stevenage as well, winning again. Everyone keeps saying about how easy their running has been so far. You can only beat who's put in front of you, and another victory for them, which it's interesting. And Andy as well. You were saying Cardiff were going to go down this year, and
well, I didn't say down. I said I thought they were going to struggle mid-table, as did a lot of their fans.
I said that, I think as well. Yeah,
they're all equally as shocked as we are, to be fair. So it's been a really good start for him. And I'm certainly looking forward to going down to Cardiff City Stadium. We need to win that because I'm not sure that I'll be able to deal with the pelters that I'll get off my friends down here.
See, it's your neck of the woods, that, isn't it, Andy?
Yeah. It's 10 minutes down road, pal. And I've got it. I'm going to get it in neck if we don't win. So we need to get 3 points there.
Right, moving on. We just want to have a look at our last bit sort of transfers because it has been hinted for quite a while now that Alexander's expecting just one more through the door, obviously after the signing of Nick Powell as well. So who do we think that is going to be? Or more importantly, where do we think that's going to be? What do you think City are missing from this transfer window to complete our team?
Everyone keeps saying we need another striker, but I don't think we will.
No, I don't think we need one either.
I think we'll get another centre back.
Yeah.
Or possibly. I was going to say left wing back, but we've got Richards, haven't we? He's coming back. I think it'll just be another centre back.
Do we need anything? I don't think we do. Like, genuinely, I'm really happy with the depth that we've got in this squad right now. I mean, look at Brad, for example. He was Player of the Year last year. He's not getting a sniff. Like, with that sort of depth, do we need anybody else to come in?
I would like to see another centre back. I think, just to put competition on. I'd like to see a little bit more competition there. But I think you're right. Do we really need anyone? Personally, I don't think we do. But I think if that is the only position that I can think that we would recruit for. I don't feel that there's anywhere else that we need to particularly.
Have we got a backup 6 for if Power gets injured? Or would you expect Metcalf or
I would
Lee
expect
to step
Metcalf. I would expect Metcalf would step in there.
Right, yeah. That's not a bad option to have, is it?
No.
Well,
His debut was so good.
Yeah, I think, honestly, the fact that I sort of watched the Stoke game and thought, oh, Metcalf's having a bit of a quiet one, shows how good he was at Blackburn at running that game. And when we've seen him in dribs and drabs, he has looked so good, so calm on the ball. Only good things come from him being at this football club for a long period of time, just bedding in, getting used to how we play, and he'll only grow and improve. He is definitely a player to look out for in the future.
He is, but yeah, going back to the transfers, I personally don't think we need anything, and I'm not a fan of bringing someone in just because we can. Like, nobody here, and obviously there's only 4 of us, so I'm not speaking out for the entire fan base, but nobody here can think of any position or anyone that we want directly. So we don't need to, do we?
I think Graham said in an interview that they're looking to bring one more person in. I think he wanted him in this weekend, but I'm guessing that's not happening. But he'd be happy with what we have until January. So if he's happy, I think I'm happy, to be honest.
Absolutely. Right, looking forward to September. After, obviously, an unbeaten month of August, we've turned some teams over that we usually wouldn't expect to. We do have quite a tough September coming up. Opening, obviously, with Donny coming up on Saturday, 6th of September. We've then got our lunchtime kickoff against the Dog Shaggers, followed by Cardiff away and Blackpool at home. That is a rough month of September. Not to mention, obviously, the League Cup match against Newcastle as well.
Yeah, I'd be happy with 6 points across them 4 games. I think that'd be a really good points tally. I think that'd firmly put us in serious conversations about some promotion or us playoffs, because them sort of teams, the early pace setters, all barring Blackpool, they're all top 6. It's top 6 games, and I think it would really put down that intent of we're pushing to go up this season if we come out with 6.
I think you're right. It is a tough month, but we also said that about this month. If you look, we saw our start to the season, Luton, Stockport in the Cup, 2 championship teams. That was a tough month, and we've got through that absolutely no problems. Same again, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not naive. It's not always going to be this good. There will be points in the season where we fail to win 5 in a row, but we've shown what we're about, what we can do. Tough month, but I'm not too worried.
I'm with Tom on this one, and I think that if we look back on August as well, where somebody had told us that we were going to be undefeated in August, would you genuinely believed it? And I think August was really, really tough, and we've come out of it unscathed. Really, I mean, the fact is, the 2 games that we've drawn, we're very disappointed that we haven't won both of them. So, do you know what? Bring them on. Bring on the Dog Shaggers. I'm looking forward to that one. Let's see what happens. Donny's going to be interesting though. Donny's going to be a difficult game, and we'll see what we do with that one. But as I say, I think just bring them on. I'm not scared of any team in this league. If you'd asked me beginning of August, I would have said plenty of teams. I'm not scared of any team in this league at all.
And that came to show as well when you were saying you were fully on board with my predictions of playoffs.
I'm gonna say it now, Andy. We're gonna go for the playoffs.
Join me, sir. Join me.
Off that fence. I've got off that fence, right? I've sat on that fence for far too long. I'm going to say it. I think we're going for at least the playoffs.
Right, can we pull ourselves away from this deluded chatter to talk about the Doncaster match? In the same way, sort of as Stevenage, they have had a slightly easier run. The only match they have lost, I believe, was at Huddersfield away. But they haven't quite played anyone that we have. What do you think? What do you see City doing? Do you think we can get a win?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, last season we were struggling to get it over the line, and I think the doubt had crept into our heads, hence the poor showing against Donny that we had towards the back end of last season. But I think why not? Like even our away form, like Tom alluded to earlier, last season our away form was awful. It was rubbish. But this we're unbeaten. Like I'd be happy with a draw, but do I think all three is on the table with this team? Why not? Yeah. Like they're just showing, they're giving us that. This is what I mean by this team gets being a Bradford City player, because they're allowing us to believe in them, because we know they're going to work and they're not just going to roll over. If we go a goal down, they're going to try and fight back into it. And do you know what? Even if we do lose, as long as we're fighting the way we have been doing, I couldn't care, to be honest. And I do think that's going to be the big tell of the season. When we do lose, how do we come back from it?
Yeah, because we keep talking about how sort of the bubble will burst at some point, but whilst it hasn't, and the longer it goes on that it hasn't, even, talking about the Wimbledon match, I came out of that match with my cousin saying, I genuinely don't think we will ever lose, ever, until like the heat death of the universe, because the way we fight at the moment is so refreshing to see, and I certainly haven't seen it for a long, long time, the sort of mentality that we have at the moment. But it will be a really tough match and a tough September. Obviously, no one is pulling the wool over their eyes on this one. I think, just as I think I said in our group chat, it's just Operation Do Not Lose for those two Yorkshire derbies. Just as long as we come away with at least 2 points from those two games, I think everyone will take that as a plus. Just not losing.
Yeah, I have to agree, but I am going to push off for a prediction. So I'm going to see a 2-1. I see us conceding to Donny. Whether they go ahead first or not, who knows?
Are you putting your mortgage on a Billy Sharp goal?
Yeah.
Like, when will he ever retire? Can he just retire now? He's just been the bane of our lives. Like,
I'm gonna go with a 1-0 to City.
See, the problem is because Andy said 2-1, I can't say 2-1, so I'm going to have to say 3-1, but I don't truly believe it.
What do you truly believe? Get on your fence.
I truly believe 2-1 because I think that's the scoreline that we're pushing for all of most of August. But I think they have got some serious firepower, obviously, in that sort of front four. Clifton, Gibson, Middleton, Sharp as well, Charlie Crew on the bench, and Owen Bailey. That O'Riordan, I think it is, their centre-back, has been one of the best players, I think, so far this season. Yeah. He's a real tower of a centre-back. They are a seriously good team, but there's no reason why we can't roll them over, because we've been pecking people left, right and centre recently. So
wow.
So there's no reason why we can't. I'm going to say 3-1 and get off my fence.
Tom?
I think we're going to lose.
You miserable git.
Yeah, so we're going to lose at some point, and they really want to beat us. Did you hear? They were singing about us yesterday in their biggest derby.
Yeah.
They really want to beat us, and if we're going to lose a game, I think it'll be that one.
Well, I'd rather us lose against Doncaster and beat Huddersfield.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
I'd say that all day long.
But that's not going to happen, is it? 6 points from the 2 games.
Could you imagine? It'd be euphoric, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would certainly take some doing, but why not? I think that's the big saying at the moment. Why not?
Yeah.
See, the way I see it going is we'll probably end up getting 9 points out of Cardiff, Huddersfield, and Donny, and then go and lose to a Blackpool side that are struggling at the wrong end of the table. That's City. That is how City rolls.
Yeah, standard.
But that being said, do we go there and play our game at Donny, or do we?
Yeah.
Do we though? Do we change it up? Have we not been found out a little bit recently?
I think we've got to play our own game. Our own game has worked. I think that we stick to our own game. Whatever will be. I think, I really do. I think we have to stick to that style. It's worked for us so far. I mean, don't forget we are 3rd in the table currently. I think we've got to stick to what we're doing.
And not just that as well, but we've got to stick behind the management who have proved and the players who have proved that they're not afraid to swap things around and be given new instructions and respond to that as well. So there's no reason why we can't look at this and say, well, the players have done a great service so far. They're behind the manager and the project. So why can't we go there and play our game, but also when required, swap things around and beat them?
That's fair. Now, before we wrap up, because I am well aware that time is pushing, I got one last question for you all. And seeing the fortitude, seeing the character shown, especially yesterday by this team, it's very much in the ilk of the 2013 group. Now, who is better? This group or that group?
I'll go first. I'll bite the bullet. So you can all judge me for my opinion. I think our squad now is undoubtedly better than the 2013 team, in the sense that I think we kind of alluded to it earlier when you posed this question, but that cup run was almost solely based on momentum. That whole season was built on momentum, in the sense that, well, we built up the momentum in the cup, and then we used that momentum to make that late dash into the playoffs and steamroll Burton and Northampton. I think that squad was running on, vibes almost alone, because if you look at the players we had in, there was no one really amazing, you think, that really pushed us to victory. It was kind of a team effort in the sense, whereas now I think we're definitely a team effort, but the players and the management and the style is much more rewarding, I think, and as well, I have more faith in us in the sense that we'll find something, and we've got, like you said, we've got different plans for different teams rather than running on almost hope alone, if you know what I mean. So I'd say if they definitely go out and beat Newcastle, then yeah, I think the togetherness of the players is probably better, and the structure of the club is definitely better than the 2013 season.
I don't like this question.
Yeah,
if I'm honest.
It's really tricky, isn't it?
I don't want to discourage or kind of knock either team at the moment, and I think that they're both very important in different ways. That 2013 team was, it was that team that we enjoyed to watch football. I know we're enjoying it now, but do you know what? I'm going to be so boring, and I'm not actually going to answer that question.
Oh, you stupid fence sitter!
I'm not going to answer it because
Switzerland.
Not doing it. I'm not doing it. I just think that I just think it's disrespectful to either of the teams, I think, for me. And that's the way that I see it as. And I know that that's not what you're getting at or alluding to, but I think for me, I'm not answering.
Boo!
Yeah, I'm going to boo you as well, yeah.
Tom?
I'm going to grow a pair. an answer.
Good boy. Take notes, Chris.
I think this. I think the team back then, obviously, as of now, achieved more. But I think the team we've got now, especially with the structure at the club we've got, has the potential to go further. Maybe not get to a final, but I think we've got more chance of going to the Championship and doing well in the Championship and staying there than we did back then. I think if we would have gone up, we would have come straight back down with that team. So I'm going to say the squad now is better, but it is tough to compare them because they're all legends in my eyes.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that sort of sentiment. They are all legends, and it wasn't a question to sort of like put any dirt or disrespect on either squad. The reason I ask it is because I'm seeing so many similarities between that 2013 team to what we're seeing currently from the current team in the way that the team are fighting for themselves. I suppose the question were more centered. Are there better footballers that we've got now, rather than, because you can't at all like deny either of the two teams mentals at all, and the fight and the passion that they've got for one another and the team and Bradford City as a whole. But footballing terms, is this a better footballing side now than what we had?
I think the fact that even the fact that you're asking that question shows how great a start of season that we've had, and the fact that we have actually got belief in this football club again. Everything's going right on the pitch. Everything's going right off the pitch. The fans are together again. It's louder than ever at Valley Parade. And I think that is why, you're asking the question, and what a position to be in, to be a Bradford fan right now. We haven't had this for so long, and it's brilliant. I nearly swore then, but it's brilliant, and that's why I think, the fact that you can ask that question, I think that's great, and I do, and I totally understand it.
It is. It's a serious question that could only come around if things were going right at the club. But I would like to thank you all for your thoughts and comments today, and it's been lovely catching up with you all. Thanks for coming on, Tom. It is really appreciated. I hope the chickens get to peck some more in future games and take over Twitter. But for now, that is all we've got time for. Hopefully we'll be back next week recording after a Donny win.